Hi Flosstube, I'm Pam. Welcome to my channel, Stitching the Land of Good Enough. This is Flosstube number 90, and today is Friday, December 22nd. And this is a channel where I talk about cross stitch, I do a little life updates, I talk about my birds that live in the backyard. I mean, they're not my birds, but I like to pretend they are. I talk about my needle workshop, Stitch New England. And we just chat. I show my stitching. And I just realized as I'm folding my sweatshirt cuffs up that I am wearing the same exact outfit that I wore last Friday when we chatted. And I do want to assure you that I own other clothing. It just happened to work out that way this week. Yeah, so before I jump into stitching, let's do a little life update. Nothing. Nothing is going on in my life except getting ready for the holidays, and I think we're finally ready right at the last minute here. And yeah, that's it. We're getting ready to do an inventory of the shop next week. We'll talk about that when we get to shop updates. I'm going to do a shop update at the very end of the video if you're not into like shop stuff. We are filming at the shop today because I think that's where we're going to have to film for the foreseeable future while we're getting our house ready to move. Anyway, I am delighted this morning because my shop is in the center of downtown North Attleboro, and there's a little bakery a couple blocks down from me called Whisk and Paddle, and I stopped there this morning and got myself a little coffee. It's an Aztec coffee, and it is delicious. It has like cinnamon and chocolate and cayenne pepper, and it's like zippy. I'm quite enjoying it. Anyway, also happy solstice, everyone. Yesterday was the winter solstice. It is like my favorite day of the year. I don't know why. To me, it's such a hopeful day. I mean, it's a regular work day, but all the months like leading up to the first day of winter, everything is getting darker and darker and darker and darker, and everything is dying and it's falling to the ground. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cozy. I love fall. But then you get to the solstice, and now you know that the light is coming back. Every day is going to get brighter and brighter and brighter. The days are going to get longer. And I love winter. I don't mind the cold. And like everything is still. It's like the still time. It's still, and the light is coming back. I love winter. So anyway, and of course I had to have a solstice start. So I'll show that in a little bit. I don't actually have a lot to show because I'm actually filming. I'm trying to get back to a weekly basis. Don't hold your breath, because we all know I say things like that and then I'll make 3 videos and then 5 months will go by. Not me, maybe not 5 whole months, but maybe 3. And then I'll film another video. Let's actually jump right into my stitching. I did my temperature stitching on Sunday. So I am stitching the temperature calendar. I think it's Zara Studio Designs on Etsy. If you are interested in doing a temperature calendar, well, not a temperature calendar, but a daily temperature stitching situation, Etsy is a great place to look for them. There are a bunch. My friend Christy from Christy's Corner has quite a few. I think her 2024 chart is going to be a dragon, which sounds really cool. I did her bookcase 2 years ago, and Stitchin' Mommy has a few options. There's like a bunch of temperature charts on Etsy. Non-Etsy charts, Carolyn Manning has a granny square. It's not crochet though, it's cross stitch, but it's a granny square chart for daily. Anyway, I love stitching my temps every week. So mine looks like a calendar this year, and I'm currently working down here on December. So this was the last week that we had. So it was a little bit warm and a little bit cold. I'm gonna have to clip my hair back today. I can already feel it. I'm really hoping by the end of the year that I can get the months stitched on here. I don't really want to have to carry this into next year, but we are doing an inventory of the shop next week. So I don't know how much extra time I'm gonna have in my life for extra temperature stitching. We'll see. And then I had a new start at the shop. I always have something that I work on at the shop for Wednesday night stitch group and Saturday stitch groups. I don't always get a ton of stitching in on the Saturdays, but Wednesday I get a fair amount of stitching in Wednesday night. And so I decided to start the Quilting ABCs by Erica Michaels. It's a five-part series. So I'm showing you part 5 just because it shows the whole pattern. Yeah. I'm sorry for the glare. There we go. That's less glary. So I'm working, I started up here. I'll show you. I'm gonna show you the colors too because they're like fantastic. They're so pretty. I'm doing it on 32 count antique white. I didn't want to get fussy about the fabric. And because I mean, it's so bright and colorful, I think the fabric is secondary to this pattern anyway. And here's where we're at. I've actually gotten quite a bit done. So working on that top border, I started the first quilt block. I mean, it's not really a quilt block, it's cross stitch, but I mean, you know what I mean. So yeah, that was one Saturday and one Wednesday. And I'm gonna work on that tomorrow at the shop as well. Got my needle sticking out. Just tuck that back in. Okay. And then this is gonna be a super fast video. Okay. And then I had a goal. I am stitching a year at Hawthorn Hollow by Carriage House Samplings, and I am 3/4 of the way done. My goal this year was to get 3 blocks done, and in order to do that, I had to finish the July block by the end of this month, and I would like to say that I was successful. I'm stitching it on 40 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. I'm doing it in the DMC. I've made quite a few color changes, so it's not quite as dark and prim as the original pattern. I probably should show you what it's gonna look like when it's all done. That would be helpful. So this is a year at Hawthorn Hollow. And so my goal was to get this block done by the end of the year. And then I just have this strip down at the bottom to do for next year. I have a little bit of this one done already. And I was working on all this blue fill-in. And it took me, most of this past week to get that done. It's pretty much the only thing I've really worked on at home, but it's done. Yay! I'll get you up close to the July block. It's so cute. There's some mistakes in there, like the flagpole is 1 stitch over too far. It should be closer to the black border. I don't think it matters. I totally messed up on the fireworks down in the water. They're not all in the right place. I don't think it really matters. I love that little whale. He's like, I'm just a whale watching the fireworks. So yeah, here's where we're at. It's getting done next year. I can't wait. I can't wait to say this is done. And then I'm gonna start a new one because I'm crazy. Okay, and then lastly, sorry, my eyeball's a little itchy. Lastly, I had a Solstice start yesterday. I decided to start a sampler for all seasons by the Scarlet House. Get that, yeah. It says, when the weather is hot, rainy, or cold, I look at my chart and stitch as I'm told. The wind may howl, raindrops may fall. I'm in my own world and safe from it all. With colors of thread from every hue, it makes me happy. This much is true. Here are the colors. So these are, I decided to go with, and you know, I said last video that I am totally in love with stitching with silk. Okay, hold on. We're gonna pause for a sec. I've got a hair emergency happening. This is gonna make me absolutely bonkers all video. All right, here we go. Okay, that may not be any better. Okay, I know I said last video that I'm like totally in love with stitching with MPIs, but I pulled the MPIs for this and I was not wowed. So I decided to do the Classic Colorworks. The only change I made was it calls like all of this, all of the border, all of the words are supposed to be in Classic Colorworks Blackbird, which is a really dark, like brown black color. It reminds me of like DMC 3371. I wonder if that's actually what the conversion is. In my head, it doesn't look like 3371. It looks like a black. So I changed it to Gentle Art Cast Iron Skillet. So, and I think it goes fine with the other colors. I like it. So I am stitching it on 36 count honey butter. Is it graham cracker fabrics? It's the fabric that Teresa Vignette's son dyes. I got it off her website. And here, am I showing you the front or the back? I got a whole block done last night. So let me fold over the fabric so you're not seeing through it. So that's the cast iron skillet. I think it's gonna be really pretty. I got a block done. I plan on stitching this at home for the rest of this year, with the exception of my temperature stitching. So I'm hoping to get a little more of this winter house work done, and then it will probably get put away until next year. All right, that is it for my stitching. Backyard birds. I don't have a whole lot of anything interesting happening in my backyard right now. I've got some cardinals because I put out safflower seed. If you have not had cardinals lately, I really suggest putting out safflower seed. It's like a white seed and they love it. Like they love it. I get mine in like a compressed cylinder and they just kind of peck at it and it lasts forever. Speaking of bird seed lasting forever, I have a whole like bird feeding station setup situation, and it takes a lot of my time and energy. I have like 4 feeders on there and like 4 different types, and I'm always changing it out for the season. Like I don't feed the birds the same way all year long. I'm always changing it up. But we have a lot going on next year and right now, and in the next 3 months, the focus in my life is going to be on the house that we're buying, doing the work that needs to get done over there, doing the work that needs to get done at my house, putting our house on the market, packing, like all the things that are involved in a move. And I have to let something go. I have to simplify my life for a little bit for the next 3 months. So I'm going to go down to 2 feeders instead of 4. And they're just gonna be like the compressed seed, because that will last almost a whole week on my feeding pole. And so I'm not constantly having to think about it. They're way easier to clean. So I'll do a safflower seed, and then my other one, I do a half and half situation. So I go to Wild Birds Unlimited and I buy compressed seed, and then I buy the suet that's also in that cylinder form. And then I cut them in half, and I put half of each on my little, like in the little feeder thing. So they're getting some suet, they're getting some seed, all in one feeder. So that's what I am assuming I'm going to get less birds, and I have to be okay with that, because I'm also in the move. I'm only moving 5 houses up the road, but I'm afraid I'm going to be getting new birds. Like my old birds are not going to follow me. There's other feeders on our block. They'll probably still stay there. So I'm going to have to get reacquainted with some new birds. And I don't know. It'll be a new birding adventure this spring. That's what we're going to call it. And then I think let's do a little shop update. I did want to say, if you are planning on after like a Christmas week shop visit, we have shortened hours next week because we're doing the inventory. So obviously we're closed. I mean, I guess it's not obvious. We're closed on Christmas. Well, it is obvious because we're always closed on Monday, and Christmas is on a Monday this year. Usually Tuesdays are by appointment. We are definitely closed this Tuesday coming up. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are all 10 to 2. So we're closing early every day. And there is no stitch group on Wednesday. Because we need to like count everything in the store for tax purposes. So that's going to be a fun adventure. We'll see if Kevin and I survive. So yeah, there's that. And then also there is definitely still stitching tomorrow. The store is open normal hours tomorrow. And then the following week, in-person registration starts for the 2024 Stitch New England Retreat on Wednesday, January 3rd. So that's always exciting. This was a question asked to me, so I wanna make sure I address it. In-person registration is not exclusive to past attendees. So if you wanna walk into the store and register in person, you did not have to attend the retreat last year. And also, I know people get a little anxious. The retreat is not going to fill up from in-person registration. And it is probably also not going to fill up from in-person registration and past attendee registration. There will still be spots. I promise you. There will still be spots open for the February 1st general registration. Yeah, I think that's it. We're a fast one today. And that's okay, because we all have a lot of Flosstube to watch, right? I hope that you have a wonderful holiday week. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I'm hoping that I will be back on chatting with you before the new year, but if for some reason I'm not, Happy New Year. And I will chat with you hopefully in a week. And in the meantime, I hope that you are all safe and that you're healthy and that you're happy and that you have lots of time for stitching. Bye, everyone.